Hello everyone, I hope you are doing well. Spring is here. Soon I will be able to practice in my backyard. Then it will be much easier for me to shoot some videos. There's the popular Chinese quote describing the feeling related to different seasons. Actually, it is more of a funny excuse for laziness. The quote is 春困秋乏夏打盹睡不醒的冬三月 Old people feel sleepy in the spring and tired in the autumn. It is a good time to take a nap in the summer and it is hard to wake up in the winter. I'm honestly surprised that lazy people even bothered to make an effort to come up with such a creative quote. Like I mentioned in the last video, spring is a better time for us to practice with extended body movements. So I recommend you use springtime as an opportunity to make your body stronger. Of course, if you really like the quote I mentioned, feel free to sleep and try to dream of a crane fighting a snake. Who knows, maybe you will learn Tai Chi that way. Maybe you could also teach me your dreamy Tai Chi. Anyway, recently I received a couple of emails asking about a deep topic related to internal style practice. That topic is Qi Gan, which translates to energy feeling. Very often, many people avoid talking about this topic due to many reasons. One of them being skepticism. For example, not everyone can have this experience in the community. Also, many people do not know how to handle the feeling when they experience it. So, today, I'd like to introduce this topic with you and hopefully it would be part of your practice experience. Before I start, I'd like to remind you that it is an advanced topic and it requires some training background. If you feel it is a bit abstract, please keep watching and I'm sure you will understand some of it. Then you can add some principles that will be introduced in this video into your practice. Then you will notice the difference in the future. Topics covered in this video include: first, what is Qi Gan? Second, Qi Gan and the Meridian System. Third, Qi Gan and internal cells. Fourth, how to handle Qi Gan. Fifth, demonstration. Sixth, takeaways. So, without any further ado, let's get started. Topic 1. What is Qi Gan? The term Qi Gan has two characters. Qi means energy. Gan means feeling, sensation, or experience. Together, Qi Gan means energy feeling. Originally, this term was created and popularized in the 1980s. Back then, Qigong practice was extremely popular in China. More than half the people I knew back then practiced at least one style of Qigong. Since there was so many people practicing Qigong back then and many practitioners experienced certain sensations of energy during their practice, many people claimed to be the corner of the term. But until today, there is no unanimous or even majority agreement on that. Personally, I don't care who coined it, since Qi Gan is a common physical and mental experience and many Qigong practitioners have experienced it already. We should focus on the term itself, not on its corner. So, what is Qi Gan? Well, my definition of this term is that it is a physical and energy experience in which people feel certain sensations on the body. especially on their palms. It is akin to a current moving inside of your body, accompanying physical movements of your arms and the other part of your body. This kind of sensation can very likely be experienced if you practice Qigong or internal styles, and of course, with some other practice as well. Also, as long as you have experienced it, then it will stay with you in the future. Based on my experience, this sensation is stronger when you are healthy. Likewise, it may feel weaker or even disappear altogether when you are sick. This is why many people believe that Qi Gan is directly or indirectly related to your overall health. I started to sense it when I started practicing martial art as a child. After practicing for a few months, I started experiencing subtle sensations in my fingers and palms. In the beginning, it felt like an electric current in the palm region. Then gradually, that sensation became stronger with time. Later, it started to resonate with my breathing. Ever since, I have been able to experience Qi Gan, no matter if I was actively practicing or not. I remember like it was yesterday, the first time I experienced Qi Gan. I asked my grandfather what it was, to which he replied that I was very lucky to experience Qi Gan so early in my life. He said I should not focus on it and just keep practicing martial arts without paying too much attention to it. During my teenager years, Qigong was so popular in China that I started actively learning from some great teachers in order to practice some very popular Qigong styles, such as Zhineng Qigong developed by Mr. Pang Heming, Wild Goose Qigong taught by Yang Meijun, in addition to many other styles. Then I believe that I understood Qi Gan very well until I started seriously practicing Xiudao. After being introduced to Xiudao, I realized that my understanding of Qi Gan was very superficial and there was a lot more I had to learn. I will talk more about this in the future. To summarize, Qi Gan is a physical and energy experience in which practitioners can feel the energy moving in their body. It is commonly felt most strongly in the palms, since that is the area where most people start sensing energy. Again, you can feel it if you practice it, or else you will not be able to sense it at all. That is the main reason behind the skepticism on this topic. Topic 2. Qi Gan and the Meridian System. The Meridian System is an important part of traditional Chinese medicine, or TCM. In ancient times, Chinese medical doctors used the concept of meridians to explain the human body. This system is used even today in TCM. However, the scientific explanation of the meridian system is still evolving with many existing hypotheses so far, but without any consensus. I mentioned in my prior videos that in Chinese culture, anything intangible can be described and explained in terms of the word qi, or energy. Of course, to explain the term Qi Gan, the most popular explanation is the feeling of energy circulating in the meridians. But please keep in mind that in many Chinese practice, people use the meridians to explain many phenomena related to energy, since meridians are believed to be the inner channel for energy circulation. By default, Qi Gan is the result of energy circulation in the Meridian System. However, does it mean that people will not experience Qi Gan before understanding meridians? Of course not. You can still experience Qi without understanding anything about meridians. The Meridian System can be used to explain the Qi Gan, but it's not a requirement to experience Qi Gan itself. The phenomenon here is the Qi Gan, not the Meridian System. Therefore, you can always practice and experience Qi Gan without knowing or caring about meridians. In my understanding and experience, Qi Gan can even transcend the Meridian System. Of course, people believe that smoothing the meridian can help the Qi Gan, and the Qi Gan practice can be used to smoothen the Meridian System as well. However, at this moment, it is so limited to explain Qi Gan based on the Meridian System, since the Meridian System is still unknown scientifically so far. So, using an unknown system to explain another unknown system would most likely result in a hypothesis at best. So, I recommend you to focus on the practice instead of worrying about the justification of the experience or the lack of it. It is an empirical approach, which is believed as a pragmatic way in dealing with summer practice. Of course, if you still consider Qi Gan to be woo-woo, feel free to ignore it altogether. Topic 3. Qi Gan and the internal styles. Like I mentioned earlier, my Qi Gan experience did not initially result from my Qigong practice. Actually, it was a result of my martial art practice. It only became stronger and subtler later on when I started Qigong practice. So, my experience about the Qi Gan is that you can experience it by only practicing martial arts. You do not need Qigong to experience Qi Gan and vice versa. For whatever reason, I have noticed that the internal styles are a lot more conducive to developing Qi Gan. It is not that common for practitioners of other styles. Now, naturally, a question will arise. Can Qi Gan help martial art practice? Well, I believe it can indirectly help martial arts. The overall benefit of practicing martial art cannot be achieved through only focusing on Qi Gan. I have to say that Qi Gan is the result of good practice, but good practice may not ensure that you will get to experience Qi Gan. Achieving Qi Gan requires many other elements in practice, especially mental elements such as a relaxed and tranquil mind. Also, based on my teaching experience, Qi Gan can help in your sensitivity training. For example, you can sense other person's energy movement without being in physical contact with them. I'm aware this sounds vague and possibly woo-woo, but I will explain it in detail in the future. To summarize, Qi Gan can be achieved through both internal martial art and Qigong practice, even more so if you practice both. However, I cannot emphasize enough that martial art practice and Qigong cannot replace each other in terms of their distinctive benefits. Topic 4. How to handle Qi Gan. This is a very hard topic since different levels of Qi Gan require different approaches. To make it easier to follow, I'd like to introduce the following principles. First, in the beginning, you should pay attention to each movement in martial art practice, especially pay attention to hand movements. Second, when you begin in experiencing Qi Gan, no matter how small or subtle, do not ignore it. Instead, you should concentrate on the sensation. Third, once the Qi Gan experience becomes stronger, you should practice it naturally by focusing on a larger area. For example, when you focus on your hand movement, you should pay attention to the process of extension of the hand in addition to focusing on the physical hand itself. In other words, focus on the action in addition to the entity performing this action. So, at this level, feeling the movement of energy during physical movement is more important than the physical movement itself. Fourth, at the next level, you should try to circulate the energy throughout the whole body, but pay special attention here that to reach a higher level, this step should be done naturally. The energy circulation should be organic and subconscious. In other words, do not obsess over it. This is the key aspect of this step. Fifth, at the next level, you will be able to handle your energy at a much higher level in practice. You can also help other people in managing their own energy. I will talk about this in the future. These are just some of the basic principles of a Qigong practice. I'm sure they will improve your experience if you follow them carefully. Again, this experience is the result of intentional practice. You will never be able to achieve it without practice. So, please take advantage of the spring season and put more effort into your practice. Time flies. Topic 5. Demonstration. I'd like to demonstrate an exercise used to practice Qi Gan. It is the Bagua basic circle walking exercise. Please also pay attention to the subtle opening and closing movement made by the arms while paying attention to the palms. With time, you will experience Qi Gan. Hello, I'd like to demonstrate one simple exercise. You can use this to practice the Qi Gan experience. So you can just keep the Bagua stance. Then you walk. At a certain point, then change the posture, but slowly focus on the palms. Then extend. Then keep walking. What you can do is that you can put this kind of small opening, closing movement when making the circle walking. Okay? 1, 2, then 3. Topic 6. Takeaways. Qi Gan is an advanced topic. I have only briefly introduced the basics of Qi Gan in order to avoid any unnecessary confusion. I have also simplified the process of practicing by providing general principles. I'm sure you will be able to experience it if you follow those principles. To summarize, first, Qi Gan is an experience of energy flow in the body. It's most commonly sensed in the palms in the beginning and can also be felt in other parts of the body with constant practice. Second, many people try to explain Qi Gan in terms of the Meridian System. Actually, there's no scientific consensus on the Meridian System to date. So, it is not practical to use the Meridian System to explain Qi Gan. The key takeaway here is to simply practice and experience Qi Gan without looking for justification. Third, you can experience Qi Gan with the practice of either Qigong or the internal style of martial arts. Even better if you practice both. Fourth, handling Qi Gan at different levels requires different approaches. As a general principle, your focus on Qi Gan should gradually shift from conscious to subconscious as you make progress in practice. I will follow up with details on Qi Gan in future videos if there is a sufficient interest in the community. If not, I have plenty of other things to talk about. So please let me know what you think in the comments. That brings up to the end of today's video. Thanks for watching. See you next time and enjoy your practice.